Hey. This is Candace Conley, team leader for High Five Atlanta, powered by eXp Realty, and I am also a member and leader in the Wealthy Group. The Wealthy Group is a national mastermind group helping agents create generational wealth. Here's a snippet from our last mastermind session.
I really made fun of the stock, right? I was like, that's just paper, right? So, and then I made fun of the rev share because I thought profit share was superior. And I thought that agents didn't do production, but look at all you agents doing production. And I can't tell you how many agents but there's no rev share without production, right? So we have highly productive agents. So once I started to really reach out and talk to people, there was this one conversation that really got me, and he thought I was trying to recruit him to Keller Williams. He had left Keller Williams a couple of years before to go to eXp, and I wanted to know like what his insight was, what the pros and the cons were. I wanted to know it all. So I called him up, and his name's Jason, and I was like, hey Jason, I really am taking a poll on what you like about eXp. And he said, are you kidding? And I was like, no. And he thought I was recruiting him to KW. So he's like, well, I'll tell you this. He's like, the leadership is like none I've ever seen. I sat next to the CEO of eXp at a fire pit. I would have never known he was the CEO. He didn't have any just like acting like he was better. There's no hierarchy. He was just like a normal person. And he said, the training, phenomenal. He said, it's the best training I've ever had. I know Keller Williams gets touted for training, and yes, they have great training. He's like, but this training is like none you've ever seen. It's the content you want when you want it. He's like, I love that. He's like, and I have about $250,000 to $300,000 in stock that I'm going to be able to pass on to my two little girls. He said, and that's life changing for me and my wife. And that's when I knew that I needed to leave. And so, and he didn't say anything about rev share. And he didn't say a word about it, but just those things alone. He had increased his business by 300% since he went from Keller Williams to eXp by plugging into the training and, all the things he was doing. And then on top of it, just earning that stock. And that's when I knew that this is real generational wealth, and this is something that's going to make a difference in your family. And look what it made in such a short amount of time. So I no longer made fun of the avatars and the earning stock. So that's like when the light bulb turned on for me, and I knew after that conversation. So when I actually joined eXp, I texted him. I was like, hey, since you went and joined me at KW, I decided to join you at eXp. And he's like, you're kidding. My phone started ringing like right away. He's like, you're kidding. And I was like, no, I'm not joking. So it was a pretty cool conversation. He's like, I really thought you were trying to get me to come to KW. And I was like, I really wasn't. I was doing my due diligence, and I was checking out the company and the people that actually were there that had left KW to see what it was like. But as far as revenue share, guys, revenue share is something that everyone needs to tap into for sure. It is, again, another stream for you guys to build generational wealth. And I start talking about it because, we have some people that are doing crazy stuff with revenue share. And I'll just go ahead and tell you what the crazy end of it looks like. It looks like about $1 million a month. And that to me is bananas, but it's happening. And I'm just like, and I remember the first time I sat down and talked to someone about eXp. His name's Rich Tomasini. And he showed me what he was making at revenue share, which at the time was about $60,000 to $65,000 a month. And I asked him, I said, but don't you think you're an anomaly? And he said, don't you think you're one? And so I was like, well, that's a good question. So I started to wrap my head around. So we've got that extreme of, anywhere from 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, all the way up to $1 million plus a month. And I started thinking like, well, what if our agents could just pay utility payment? Or what if they suddenly went from a utility payment to a car payment? And then to a mortgage payment? It doesn't have to be like you go from like this, nothing to $1 million. Like, you got to build on that, right? And so you got to think about, like, how do I start with that? Like, what do I start with? It takes one conversation with a cross sell that you're doing just to tell them, like, how happy you are and how excited, and these amazing Zooms that you get to go on and share information, encourage one another. It takes that and inviting them. And then that can make the difference of you just having your utility payment. I don't know about you guys, but there's been a time where that would have made a huge difference in my life. Just to have a couple $100 a month extra is massive. And so if that grows over time, because it will, and it's going to organically grow. So, you can work on it here and there, but then your people are going to work on it here and there, and it's going to people are going to organically come to. When I came to EXP, messages started showing up in my inbox everywhere. They were like, Amy, I want to know about EXP. Amy, why'd you move? Like, I can't believe you moved to EXP. Like, tell me. And I'm like, whoo, I was like, this is a lot. So there's a buzz about EXP. And so you might as well tap into it and see, what kind of difference, even if it starts really small gradually turns into bigger. And that's going to automatically happen. So you just got to figure out how you're going to plug into it. Is it, someone that you've been at a different brokerage with? Is it a cross sell that you're doing? Is it a friend that's getting into the industry? Is it a friend that you think would be phenomenal in real estate? What is it? What does that look like for you? And then pick up the phone, call them, invite them to coffee. So you just don't know. And it's really a genuine relationship that you're developing with someone and a rapport. They want to know you, like you, trust you. And when they see what you're doing, they see the production you're having and the difference it's making in your life, then that's when they want to know more. So yeah, you guys need to tap into that. I don't know. I just feel like I threw up all EXP all over you guys. So what questions?
First, we want to thank you for getting up and joining us today. Like, I know with the thousands and thousands of agents that you support across the country, we are honored that you came and supported us today. So thank you. Amy and I have actually been trying to connect ever since she joined.
Listen, you guys, this is just a snippet of a mastermind session. Now, did you catch Amy talking about Jason, catching up with Jason, and Jason had about $250,000 and $300,000 in stock in just a few years with being with EXP. That is a game changer on top of your sales volume, on top of your revenue share. When you get this information and you grasp this information, you can't unsee it. You can't not know this information anymore. And when you compare to any other brokerage, it just doesn't add up. It's no comparison. So it's you, EXP, and the Wealthy Group. That is your pathway to generational wealth. So listen up, you guys. I am super excited about all of this. I wish I would have joined earlier. Now, another thing you really need to catch and know that now is the time to join is that EXP is growing so fast. EXP is the fastest growing brokerage in the world. Okay. And so what does that mean? That means that we have healthy stock. And that means that you have a great potential right now to create generational wealth through stock, because the stock is growing by leaps and bounds. So listen, I hope you're just as excited as I am. Call, text me. Let's go.